Hello everyone, my name is Makeda Voletta, also known as the Body Scientist and Queen Lioness. And for those of you who don't know, I'm a personal trainer, a strength and conditioning specialist, a nutritionist, a doula, and a sacred sexual educator. So basically, all those things tie into the body and the function of the body, okay? So I have dedicated my life to studying all the ways that we can bring our body to its highest level and helping people improve the function of their body first. First the function and then the appearance, okay? So with that being said, this video is addressing women and some of the fitness issues and challenges that women have when having babies, okay? This is something that comes up a lot in my work, and I do have a degree in exercise and sports science. I did graduate work in applied physiology, but it wasn't until years after college that I realized that we had discussed so many different things, you know, people in wheelchairs, people with mechanical hearts, people with diabetes and hypertension, and how exercise can hurt that situation and how exercise can be a medicine for that situation, okay? That's what exercise physiology, the study of it, is. My kinesiology and anatomy studies, biomechanics. Pregnant women was never discussed, okay? In nutrition, yes, but not in the exercise sciences. So this is something, and to become certified as a trainer, it's not something that you're required to know, okay? But more than half the world is women, and most women have babies, so this is an important topic. One thing I can definitely say is I've been training for like 12 years now, and when I first started training, I remember seeing women. I remember having, being in college and having bosses who had like 5 kids. I remember when I worked at one gym in New York that my manager had 5 children, and she had just had a baby like a month prior, and she was chiseled out, 8-pack and everything. And, you can never tell that she had just had a baby a month ago. Then I remember having clients who had been college athletes or were extremely active. And they would be like, oh yeah, I had my baby and it was so easy, and I went right back to where I was, and the next day I was wearing the same dress. Like, it seemed that women who were in shape and had been in shape for years prior to becoming pregnant and having children, that they had an easier time in labor and recovery. So that's something that I just observed over the years. And then I take it a step further because I'm also a dancer, and I study a lot of dances of the African diaspora that involve manipulation of the hips, okay? So it forces women to connect to their hips, and we should all be connected to our hips, men and women. But especially as women, since we give birth, okay? A lot of women are not connected to the womb, to the hips. They are not connected to the deeper muscles that we have, vaginal muscles, anal muscles, our diaphragms, these diaphragms that we have down here. And so that's important because in labor, a lot of times women do not know the difference between relaxing and pushing, or they can't even make a connection. And a lot of midwives tell me that they see this, and this can sometimes contribute to the C-section rate. Women not being able to calm down, not being able to connect. That's very important. So the dancing, I believe, helps that. Helps you get better control, helps you build the strength, endurance, and flexibility in your hip region. And this is the reason why, if you look at the work that doulas would do with women, or some of the positions that's comfortable for women, a lot of times women like to rock back and forth to create a rhythm when in labor, because those things help. Belly dancing and dances like that, those movements, those undulation movements help a woman to move her baby out. But they also help to strengthen and tighten the muscles, which can help postpartum as well. One of the most important things, I think, for women and all people, but since I'm talking about women in this video, I'll speak about women. But one of the most important things, I believe, is strength training, and this is why I created my class, Sensual Strength Training for Women. A lot of people get stuck on the sensual, and they get stuck on the egg work. And if you're not familiar with the egg work that I'm speaking about, definitely look at my YouTube videos, Cosmic Egg Lecture number 1 and Advanced Cosmic Egg Lecture, where I speak more about the use of the yoni egg. And I will speak about it in this video in a second, a little bit further, but definitely go back and look at those videos. Yeah, so a lot of people get stuck on that. Now, the strength training part is very important to put stress on your muscles so that your muscles can be tight and strong. Muscles are shock absorbers, so they help to absorb the shock that gets put on your joints. This is the reason why athletes strength train. All professional athletes, baseball players, basketball players, football players, track athletes, swimmers, they go to the weight room outside of their sport. They do this because it helps them get through it. It helps them have more endurance, more strength, more explosiveness, helps them recover better, and helps them have a longer career as an athlete. Decreases their chances of becoming injured, okay? So a lot of people think strength training, they think, oh, bodybuilder. No. Bodybuilders do lift weights and athletes lift weights, but the strength training is different than bodybuilding. So don't think bodybuilding, okay? Anyhow, this is very important because, again, your muscle absorbs shock. So, and your muscle moves bones. This is the reason why you want to have strong muscles and be able to connect to them, because muscles move bone. What is it that happens in labor? All the bones in the pelvic region start moving. And the more women can connect and move and manipulate and relax, the better it will be for her. Now, I definitely say that, you have some women who never worked out, just have a good shape, and they take it for granted. They don't do anything. They have babies. Sometimes they lose their body. Sometimes women that don't work out and have great shapes have babies and they're fine, but most likely if they don't start working out, they will lose it sooner than they would if they did work out. Like, they may have a great figure, have a few kids, and get to be 40, 45, and then they lose their figure. But if they were working out that entire time, they would maintain it longer. And that's how you see a Tina Turner or an Angela Bassett or somebody, okay? So, or Madonna. Any of these people who've just, over years been working out. So I definitely say that for any woman who wants to have children and you care about your health and your shape and you're worried about losing your figure, definitely start working out a few years prior to having children. And I don't mean running on the treadmill. I mean like doing squats. Squats are very important, okay? Because that's a very good position to be in during labor, and you need to have the strength and endurance. So doing squats, that strengthens all the muscles in your lower region. Strengthening your back, okay? Push-ups, okay? It's exercises like that. Strength training means if you can do more than 15 reps, it's too light. So if you go to the gym and you get 5-pound dumbbells and you're doing your bicep curls, and you're doing like 25 reps, and then you just decide to stop, oh, I'm going to do something else, but you're not even fatigued yet. That's not strength training. That's playing around. You need to choose a weight that fatigues you in about like 8 to 15 reps. No more than 15 reps. If you can do more than 15 reps, the weight is too light to increase muscle, lean body mass, muscle growth. It's not going to make you stronger. It needs to be something where you are fatigued at 15. And fatigue does not mean that, your muscle burns. Fatigue means that you can no longer do it with the proper form. So let's say you get to like, you're at rep number 13, okay, bicep curls. You're doing bicep curls, proper form. Rep number 13. Now, in order for you to get to number 14, the only way you have enough strength to do one more rep is if you go like this, you use some kind of momentum. If you have to use momentum, you're done, okay? The second that you have to use momentum to complete another rep, you're fatigued. When you compensate your form, you're fatigued, okay? So form is very important. This is one of the things I teach in my central strength training class and with my one-on-one clients, okay? Because I'm a one-on-one trainer as well. So strength training prior. Also, I highly recommend dances that help you to connect to your womb. Whether it be belly dancing, Congolese, Haitian dance, Afro-Cuban, Afro-Brazilian, samba, stuff like that. That really makes you connect to your hips and being able to manipulate your hip region, okay? And then working with the egg, which is the other part of my class. It helps a woman to, helps the muscles to prepare the strength and flexibility, control, helps a woman to know the difference between contracting and relaxing, because a lot of people focus on the strengthening aspects of the egg, but it also helps you learn how to relax, which is also important in labor, okay? This being able to surrender and relax and connect, okay? After having babies. And it's good to work with the egg prior to having children, but I do know women who start working with the egg during their pregnancy or after. In those cases, I definitely say start working with a large egg that's drilled. And even if a woman has been working with an egg prior to birth, it's probably good after birth to start with a large drilled egg and then work down to the medium. And a lot of the details about eggs and egg sizes I will be discussing in my book that I'm currently working on. So I'm not going to get too in depth. I just want to give some ideas of what women can do to help get their mojo back after babies, okay? Because the egg, for women that have had tears or sewn, it helps you to get the flexibility back and get rid of some of the scar tissue. And you want to wait until maybe like 6 to 8 weeks after birth. When you're done bleeding, definitely when it's okay for you to have sex again. So it's not like a exact time period. It could be different for different women depending on also what she went through in labor. But I would say 6 to 8 weeks is good. When you stop bleeding, when the doctor tells you that you can have sex again, is a good time to start gently working with the egg. And you want to work with a large drilled egg that has a string in it, okay? And the reason for that is because you don't know what your body is going to be like after that. And so you don't want a situation, I always tell women that eggs don't get stuck, but you want to be very gentle. So you don't want something where you're trying to push it out or something's uncomfortable. You just want to work very gently and slowly with your body after birth to regain the strength, okay? I suggest working with a large drilled egg, doing some gentle squeezes, a few minutes a day, and I get more specific into exercises in my online class and my in-person class. But it will definitely help you get your strength and flexibility back. Also, for women who lose their libido, I know a lot of women who have had children and their babies maybe 2, 3, 4 now, and still they're like, I don't want to be touched. I don't want my husband to touch me. I don't feel sexual. And then the men are suffering, and they know that the men are suffering, and they feel bad. And like, what can I do? Okay, and I definitely don't think it's good for anyone to do something they don't want to do. So, of course, if you don't feel sexual, it's hard to force yourself. But at the same time, your husband has needs too. Working with the egg helps to bring back your libido, okay? It definitely helps bring back your libido, and I have some pretty funny stories around that. Dealing with the egg, one is a funny story from Costa Rica where there was a woman, I taught a workshop, and she had a baby that was like 4 months. She's breastfeeding, she had the baby in class, and she had a baby with her in class. So she's telling me, I'm not having, she told me that she didn't feel sexual, she didn't want her husband touching her. And she's like, I don't want any more babies for at least a couple years, I'm good. So she starts working with the egg. I come back to Costa Rica like 6 months later, and she's pregnant again, okay? So I kind of, it was kind of funny, I kind of felt guilty because, she said she wanted to wait a couple years, but that egg brought back her libido, and next thing you know, she's pregnant again. And I've seen that happen with women who had those issues of libido issues, okay? So it's definitely good for that as well, to start balancing your hormones again after birth, because you're still going through a lot of hormonal shifts and changes to help build your chi, because childbirth does drain your chi. You just had a whole life grow inside of you and come out, now you're breastfeeding. So a lot of your life force can be drained, so the egg can help with that as well. So it helps with all those things, okay? And definitely continuing to strength train. I don't think it's a good idea to start a workout program when you're pregnant if you were not exercising before. You have to be very careful with that. Work with a very good trainer on a one-on-one basis with that. Be very careful. But if you're already active, you can monitor your activity level and still be active during your pregnancy. Then it's good. And but I definitely recommend starting beforehand. Like, women, it's very important for us to think ahead of time. Like, if you know that you want children, even if it's 3, 4 years from now, start preparing your body now, because there's so many nutrients that our babies need, and so much of it will get sucked out of us that we don't have high enough stores. And sometimes it's the reason why children come out with allergies and asthma and different health problems and issues, because of what we did not have in our system. And this starts years before. Also, some people may have healthy babies, but then they have a lot of problems. And it may not be evident now. It could be evident in 10, 15 years when your body's breaking down. So this is very important. It needs to be taken seriously. So what you eat and what you're doing to your body, and like really preparing your body for that. It's like, think about an NFL football game. If you went into an NFL football game and never went in the gym, never went in the weight room, never went to football practice, okay, and now you walk into an NFL football game, you're most likely going to get hurt. And most likely you won't recover that fast, okay? You would definitely won't recover as quickly as the people who are conditioned athletes, whose muscles are strong, who, you know, like they recover much faster. Studies show that strength training helps you recover much faster from injuries, helps keep your bones in place. That's the reason why sometimes you see football players will break a little bone in their leg and they're still running around, because the muscles are so tight, it holds that bone in place. Even though the bone may have fractured, the muscle holds it in place. When your muscles are loose and flaccid, it can't do that. And it takes a longer time for you to recover and everything else. So these things are very important to remember, women. Very nutritious diet. I have a video on this YouTube page, The Body Scientist 81. I have a video about pre-fertility nutrition. Please join my YouTube page and like this video and share it with people if you think it's good, because sharing is caring. But yeah, I think for now that's all I want to say. It's just what I think is very important, is strength training prior to becoming pregnant. During pregnancy, you want to be very careful with that. I don't really recommend strength training. You can do light workout, but not strength training. You don't want to work out to fatigue when you're pregnant. Afterwards, strength training again, because doing squats with weight really helps to tighten your abs and your pelvic and urogenital diaphragms, more so than crunches. Crunches don't do too much. One great exercise is the plank, though. The plank helps to strengthen the deep transverse abdominis muscle, which is not the ab muscle that you see. It's a deeper ab muscle that holds all your organs in. So a lot of women that feel like they have a pouch or the stomach won't go back in after birth, planks are very important. And you can easily find planks. I have a video on YouTube floating around where I'm demonstrating the plank. But if not, my demonstration is, I'm sure you can find many in magazines and on YouTube, Google, whatever, the plank. Very, very critical. And I really recommend, if you have access to belly dance, Congolese, Haitian, Afro-Brazilian, Samba, Afro-Cuban, do those. The dances that require intense hip movements. Not salsa. Salsa is a great and beautiful dance. It's one of my favorite dances to dance, but it's not what you need to really get your muscles, these muscles, in shape and tight again. Okay, so now I'm going to leave it at that for now. I do work with private clients. I get a lot of emails of people asking personal questions. I don't mind answering personal questions, but I can only do it if I evaluate you first. So I do evaluate clients. I take it very seriously when I'm giving advice. This is a general video. But for more specific advice geared towards your, direct issue, definitely I can evaluate you and help you with that. And I can work with you if you're from a distance or wherever. So you can email me. My email address is below, mvoletta@thebodyscientist.com. So that's it for now. I hope you found this video helpful. Okay? Thanks, people. Bye-bye.